folks, JD here, and today we're going to be looking at fixing the aeroplane that we built a little while ago, the C-17, the transport aircraft. One of the fake motors came off, and obviously if I try and fly her with this, she's going to be off balance. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this back, we're going to clean everything off and put it back, and then once I've done that, I'm going to look at attaching an FPV camera so I can get some nice FPV footage from this particular aircraft. Now there are many that I've tried, and there are many which have failed, and there is one which I think is going to succeed, so we're going to look at attaching that. Okay, so there is a little bit I've still got to do to this hobby table, like add a light. So there are going to be some shadows cast in this video, unfortunately folks. I'll try and see if I can get a light sorted for the next time we do a video. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to be fixing this. So as you can see, it's come from this side here. It should be affixed, and this is what it should look like. But obviously in transit it has come off, and now what I want to do is I want to put it back to what it looks like originally. So let's move this around. So essentially, to begin with, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to clean up this particular area, because now we've got a little bit of glue on there. It may go back, it may hold, but there's an even stronger possibility that it may not. So what we're going to do first of all is we're just going to clean off this particular area. So for that, I'm going to grab my knife. Now you can use anything for this. It would be probably recommended, I would say, because it is EPP foam, that you could use a very light non-coarse sandpaper. What I've often found is pretty good for this though is just scraping a knife across an area, just to give you an area which doesn't have hard glue already attached. And it comes off pretty easy, to be fair. It doesn't really... There we are, that's good. So you can see now, I don't know how well you can see this, but there are a couple of sort of, the area is now not as shiny, but not just that, you can see that the EPP foam underneath has sort of got a couple of, it almost looks a lot like you're kind of, as you're going against the EPP foam, it pulls up little bits like this, and it just kind of shows that the new sort of, the new foam underneath there. So if I can give you an example, let's have a little look and see. Okay, so the top here, you can see that is yellow. So that is the glue, a little bit of an orangey yellow colour, and down here is more white. So essentially what you're doing here is taking off the glue and get into a surface in which you can reapply some adhesive. So there we go, that looks a lot better now. And it feels a lot better as well. It feels a lot more coarse rather than shiny and rather than smooth, because smooth would say that you have a lot of glue on there, and we just need to get all this off. Now, as I say, when you do this, you want to be careful, because you know these kits are made and they're balanced so that everything just works and everything flies really well. And you don't want to be taking off too much. You don't want to... Yeah, that's coming off very slowly. It's causing the foam to ripple a little bit. But all we need is just a bit of area to the front, the middle and the back, just so that we can re-stick this back on. Okay. Okay, that certainly feels a lot better than what it did do. There's a couple of little bits of foam which I'm just going to pull off here, because there's a bit of glue attached as well. There we go, that certainly feels a lot better. Those two now are ready to have the glue reattached. Now once again I'm going to be using Yoo-Hoo, same as we used last time, just because it proved to work extremely well in this kit. So I'm just going to go back and I'm just going to use this as well. Now, as I don't intend on flying this for a little while, then I'm just going to, I don't really mind how quickly this takes to dry. So let's see if I can line that up with the front a little bit. There we go. Let me turn this aircraft around for a minute and see where that... Oh, I'm a little way off the mark. There we go. That's got it. So that's got it quite nicely. Just going to hold itself there. So for this, because as we saw last time, it takes a little while for this glue to go off, what I'm going to do is I am going to just leave that there for now. And that then should start to go off quite nicely. And then when that's done, we should have a plane in which I can then take back up and we can fly. Cracking stuff. Right, okay, that's there. Let's collapse this knife. Let's put this away. I don't need that for the moment. What I do need, though, is room in my drawer for my knife. Right, so camera. I've tried loads of different cameras for the past couple of weeks. Now I've tried my run cam, even though it's only 41 grams, it's still too heavy. And to be honest, there are so many other cameras which are as heavy as that. Now what I've done here is I've gone for a very cheap camera. And the reason for that is because sometimes the cheap ones are sometimes the lightest, and this is what we've got here. This little camera is a 1080p 720p camera as well, but it only records at 30 frames a second, and it gives you a it has a wide angle lens of 155 degrees. Now that is quite insane from a camera that weighs, I think it weighs about 8 grams, I think. Have we got it? Yeah. 17 grams. There we go. I was totally out with the weight there, but still 17 grams is extremely light, and that should be light enough hopefully to affix onto the back of the plane. Now what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do this is going to be quite simple. I'm going to be using an FPV strap, and what I'm also going to be doing as well is on one of these sides, this side here, I'm going to be affixing a pin. So I'm going to be attaching a standard pin, just a normal pin, and I'm going to be gluing it into there. And what that's going to do is the pin is then going to go into the EPP foam, and then I'm then going to strap the camera over the top like that. So essentially the camera, even though it's going to be on the side, it's not going to go anywhere. Now the reason it's going to be on the side is quite simple. The on and off button and the record buttons are at the top here. So if I try and put a bit of glue on the bottom, once the strap goes over, there's a possibility it may hit some of these buttons. Whereas if I put it on the side, when the strap goes on and when you've got to go around the plane, that strap is going to kink out to the side slightly like that. So you may find that you're not going to be hitting these buttons. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to affix something to them. I was going to use some really a hot glue gun, that's what I'm trying to think of, but unfortunately I can't use a hot glue gun on this, as I bought 2 of these and I tried one and the heat was too much for it, and it actually caused the plastic to actually bend a bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to affix a little pin to this using some all-purpose adhesive here, the same as what we used to build this particular C-17 plane, and if it's strong enough to hold that, it's going to be strong enough to affix this onto the plane. Now let me just have a little look, because I should have some of the pins around here. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using a plastic drawing pin for this, just simply because I need a flat surface here in order to affix onto the camera, and that's exactly what we've got here. So I've got a flat surface where I can just attach that to there, and I also need about ½ an inch of pin so I can affix it into the EPP foam. Once again, that's exactly what we've got here. So essentially what it's going to look like is it's going to look like that when it's done. So you're going to have a pin sitting on top for camera, and then that then is going to go into the EPP foam, and then the strap is going to go around the camera, just being able to hold onto it. Now where this has got to fit is it's got to fit on a particular part of the plane where the wings join the body a little way further back. I've marked on the plane exactly where it's got to go. So for this, I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, and this is going to take a little while to go off, but it's not something that we need anytime soon. And because there's no holes in the side of the camera here, but there are holes on the 3 other sides, this does seem like a good side as any to put it on. So I'm just going to put a little dab of glue there. Now don't forget, we are going to be having the strap on there as well to help this camera and to help it stay on the plane. So I'm not going to need the glue to be 100% holding on to this camera, because the strap is going to do it as well. The pin is just there just to ensure that the camera doesn't slip, it doesn't move backwards, and doesn't slip out of the way. So this is essentially now what we've got. Extremely strange, yes, I know, but I've done this to a few other little things just to test, and this was by far the easiest way. Now, as we have a good, between the bottom of the camera, of the pin and the top, we have about an inch and a half approximately, yeah, then what you're going to find is that it's going to sit above the plane a little bit, which is going to be nice. So we should reduce jello by having this, because it's not going to be directly attached to the plane, but at the same time it shouldn't, hopefully, affect how the plane flies. Now, in the test I did of this a couple of weeks ago, which is how I broke the the fake motor, is I didn't use a pin. I just attached the camera to the plane and I flew it, and there was a lot of jello, but the plane flew, and it flew very, very well. I can show you the flight footage. In fact, there may be a little bit of footage after this of me flying with this camera on it, just for you to have a little look should you want to. Now, that is essentially what we're going to do today. And then when this is all ready to go, I'm going to attach the camera and everything, and then I'll show you in another little video how that looks, and then we're going to take it out, and then we're going to fly her. So there we are, folks. We are just about ready to be taking this guy up. All we need now is a nice little day where there isn't any wind. We also need this motor to set, and we also need this to set as well. So thank you ever so much, folks, for watching and listening. I've been JD. You've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying. Okay, one thing to say as well is I have gone through and I have tried to re-stick this particular battery bay door down. I've tried to file the EPP foam bit. Or is she going to? She's okay. Oh, and just gotta let it. It seems to be okay, but obviously when you're turning, then it's got the excess weight pushing down on the fuselage, which is then going to cause it to drop. But I think it could have been with my terrible turning skills. I'm very ham-fisted, and just turning her slightly like this seems to get a good result. Okay, so we've seen a load of video and a load of photos from quadcopters and from cars and stuff in the short time I've been doing this, and I'm just intrigued to see what it looks like from a plane. So I tell you what, I'm gonna decrease her altitude a bit. Oh.